600, 601, 602, 603, 604, 605, 606, 607, 608, 607. Good job. Oh, good. Oh, that was good. Did you see the shape of the rope when I was jumping? It was making, those are quadratic curves. The shape of the rope when it's perpendicular to the floor. That's quadratic curves, or they're also called parabolas. Now, today we're going to learn about quadratic equations, especially how to use Po-Shen Loh method to solve quadratic equations. Now, welcome to Uncle Ken channel. If you are a subscriber, welcome. Thank you very much. If you are new here, please subscribe, share, and like. Because if you don't, you come after you. You know the alien guy, or Victor will steal your chapati. So you better watch out. Now, welcome. This is a mini lesson on. It's a series of lessons on the same topic, and on how to solve quadratic equations using Po-Shen Loh method. Now, what are quadratic curves or parabolas? Now, this is where they come from. If you look at this is a cone. And if I cut a slice from here, just down that way, in a certain way, we call them conic sections. And there are many types, ellipses, hyperbolas, circles. But I'm more interested in this type of a conic section. This one here. And I'm going to just write it again in red so you can have a look. See, this is the part. If you take a cross line here, that's the diameter of this shape. And this shape of a glass is called a frustum. A frustum, actually, if you continue like that, this is just part of a cone. It's a long cone. Now, if I cut it through with using a very sharp cutter through here, connecting the diameter points, then that shape is a quadratic curve or a parabola. Now, why should we make it a big deal about quadratic curves, parabola, something cut from a glass? So what? So what? I always ask you, as my students, to ask your questions, why? So the thing is, it might look simple, but it's actually a very important part of mathematics and solves a lot of problems in the real world. So a quadratic function is in this form ax squared. So that should be ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where this a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is a constant. Now, the big picture is, where do we use these quadratic curves or parabolas? One of them is, for example, in projectiles, when you throw like a golf, when you hit a golf, or missiles, or even a plane taking off. That motion, the velocity, the mass, and all that can be calculated using a quadratic function. And even we have paraboloid surfaces which are made of parabolas. For example, satellite dishes, which increase the signal to your TV. If we didn't have parabolas, you'd have a problem. The other thing is the sensors in your phone, they have paraboloid surfaces. Now, but apart from that, in the real world, in maths, we have some problems which come up like this. For example, you're given the area of a rectangle is 13 units squared. The length is x plus 12, and the width is x. So, can you find the width or length? This, if you multiply x times x plus 12 and equate that to 13, you form a quadratic equation. When you solve that, then you get x, then you get your length. So it's very applicable in just maths and in real life. Therefore, but there are many ways of solving quadratic equations. One of them is factorizing, which you're very familiar with, which is normally the first thing that is taught in solving quadratic equations. And the other method is completing the square. The other method is a quadratic formula, which we're going to look at now. And then you've got the calculator function. The calculator function, what I'm calling a calculator function, is basically you punch in the data into a function, the calculator, especially this one here, and then you get the answer straight away. Obviously, in the exams, you're expected to show your method, so maybe that can only be used for checking whether your answers are correct. And we got the Po-Shen Loh method. This is what we're going to focus on today. But the question is, why Po-Shen Loh method? Po-Shen Loh is professor of mathematics in Carnegie Mellon University in the US, and he is also the coach of the US team for Math Olympiad. So he's a great mathematician, and although he did not discover this method, he has actually popularized it in the last 1 year. And the beauty of this is that you don't have to guess, because factorizing and some other methods you have to guess what the factors are. It's got a very beautiful mathematical logic and rigor, and also it comes from it applies symmetry in solving the problems. So that is what we are going to do in our next video. We're going to demonstrate how to solve quadratic equations using Po-Shen Loh method. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.